Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Alisha Braché here at Cosmic Gateway in conjunction with World Unity Week. And I am super excited to present to you a very, very dear soul brother of mine. I am here with Donovan Gall, the one and only number vibrationalist, and he's going to be giving an amazing presentation talking about numbers, vibrations, synchronicity, planets, the connection, and how we can use them in our life. And we're going to finish off with a guided process for you all. So welcome everyone, and welcome Donovan. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's it's been a process to get here, but it's so interesting, the experience we've had in the lead up to this, hasn't it been?
It always is. And I was like, in the lead up to recording this, I was like, wow, we've really come a long way. Because I think you were, when I started interviewing people 3 or 4 years ago, I think you were the first or second person I ever interviewed, and here we are now. So
Oh my God, I did not know. I swear to God, I did not know that. I thought you'd been doing it for like 5 years or something. I actually did not know that. Hey, wow,
so
that's
there you
amazing.
go. You were like one of my very first, and we'd never met. I just saw you and liked you and resonated with your work. And numbers is something that's been a big part of my path, and synchronicity and all the things that you talk about. And I think we'd only had a few exchanges via message. See, this is how soul brothers and soul sisters and soul family come together. I'd seen a few posts online of comments that you had done or something online, and I was like, we need to record about this. And I reached out to you. Yeah. And I think you were maybe, first or second. So, and here we are now.
Yeah, and I was really green because I'm pretty sure it was like one of the first. It may have been the first Facebook Live I'd ever done, I think. So there you go. Perfect. Wow, I'm blown away. That's amazing. And thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be part of this huge week. It's so timely, isn't it? And we'll talk about why it's so timely with the 5 universal year that we're in. Unity being such a big theme, and and as people will start to get to understand how I feel numbers. So so I've got the basic I guess self-training, and through reading and studying in Pythagorean numerology. But then as my path has unfolded, and through revisiting meditation and bringing all that, it started to expand to a whole nother level where I would get messages from numbers in meditation, and then also through synchronistic numbers presenting themselves in my life, which I know you've experienced as well. And that's when I started to really connect with the fact that they're living, breathing, cosmic, encoded energies, and it just it's like I can't, so Pythagoras, he said, all is number. And this is where it is mind-blowing, because I don't separate numbers from everything in the experience of being incarnated and connected to source. Like it actually, numbers being a universal language.
Yeah, it really is.
And they've each got, and this is what we're going to go through today, they've each got a unique vibrational energy about them. And once you understand how to interact with those energies, it suddenly becomes not separate to, say, meditating. Like working with numbers is no different to meditating or doing a healing, as far as I'm concerned. Numbers can, when you interact with them, can very much heal people, because they can help them understand self, and then understand the journey. And once you understand self and the journey, and you understand others, then you can fully connect, and then it all just keeps expanding from there. And that's what happened to me, basically.
Yeah, I'm so glad you shared that, because I'm always intrigued at how people get into, what their journey's like and how they get to where they are. And obviously we know each other quite well and have worked together alongside each other, but to share that with people, you know, make that correlate, or understanding that, you know, you do numerology that people would be familiar with, but yours is something that's very unique, that comes through you, that is like a blending, a beautiful blending of a unique blueprint of, you know, how you interact with it and how you interpret it and how it plays such a massive role in your life. And I think a lot of people, when they start going on their awakening ascension journeys, you know, 1111 and all the numbers, and I think you really help steer and guide people in such a magnetic, that's the word that wants to come through,
It's a
magical
perfect
way,
word.
to help them make sense of themselves and the journey. And I think that's such an important part of it. So yeah, and
Yeah.
it
And
really ties into that, so sorry, the evolving of modalities too. And I think you're one of those very unique people that's on the, you know, leading edge of evolving what we've worked and used with, and bringing into a whole different way of interpreting and working with. So yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and we've recently been talking. We've had many conversations about the fact, you know, not getting stuck and locked into modalities, or the way things, you know, have maybe been done through a few generations or whatever, and understanding that we're at a precipice now where we're expanding knowledge, and it's also not that we're creating anything new necessarily, but we're remembering ancient knowledge, and we
Thank you.
because we're, you know. So it's in the soul, and it's stepping forward because we are meeting the level of our higher heart and our soul, and there's all this information that we've already picked up along our soul journey, and we can now bring forward because we're in emotional. That's an interesting word. We're now in vibrational resonance with our heart and our soul, so therefore the information is like, the frequency is able to step forward, if that makes sense. Yeah. So
I love
it's
that. I
as
love the
much
way
as
you put that. So true.
yeah, I love it, because when I'll get into, so I'll get further into this all is number. You know, it's this sense that you're creating something new is the experience. You're expanding something and it feels new, and yet you're remembering something you already carry within you, and you know. So both simultaneously, and this is what I'll talk a lot about, how actually, and when we do the guided meditation at the end, it is very much under the theme of everything and its opposite simultaneously existing. So, and that's a state of being that I'll take everybody through at the end when we do the meditation. It's really, really cool what they show me, and how to, they show me where, like, what journey to take people on. This happens to me all the time, you know. So
I'm so looking forward to that. I've been excited about this for weeks. Just to give people the backstory, I was thinking about this segment, and I had this download of like, I wonder if it's possible for X, Y. I won't give anything away. And I messaged you, and you came back to me, and you had tapped into the same thing at the same time. Or
was that
something.
the Lyra? Was that
Yeah.
the Lyra thing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I was like, I just love the way this works, you know.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So all is number. So if we want to really dive deep into that, and get started on this journey of the numbers 1 to 9, including starting with a 0, making the statement Pythagoras, you know, thousands of years ago, how many thousand of years ago it was, all is number. And then moving forward, we got Tesla saying, if you understand the magic of the 3, the 6, and the 9, you'll understand the universe, you know. And just very quickly, the download I get from that, whenever somebody tells me that, I get that visual of all the triple number sequences. They all, in order, reduce to 3, then 6, then 9, then 3, then 6, then 9, like, right? So 111, 222. So 111 equals 3, 222 equals 6, 333 equals 9, and on it goes, right?
I've never thought about that. You're right.
Yeah, which actually, and this is the thing, so number then creates sacred geometry. It creates a pattern. So you can start to see patterns within number, right? And when you look for patterns out, so on a micro level, on the most microest of levels, you know, the human body, the biology has patterns to how you know, we start with a cell and then we split into two, and then it creates the sacred geometry, right? The seed of life into the flower of life and the tree of life. And then you tap into the Kabbalah, right? And then you realize that the human body is like 100 trillion cells, which is interesting because there's about 100 trillion, there's about 100 trillion stars in the universe. And you start to get this fractalized, realizing you're a fractal of the greater whole. And then you start to tap the full power of what all that you are, because it's like, my God, you know, like 100 trillion cells in a human body, that's a whole universe in itself. Wow. And when you think about it, it comes back to number, because it's all how it expands. So what numbers are literally doing is they're expanding the universe, and they're a language that the universe uses. And we see it in everything. So the way that planets form and then create their orbits around each other and around their stars, you know, there's a geometry and a number and a pattern to that. And the way that galaxies move and the way that they move around each other, right, is patterns. And then if we drill down to the earthly incarnation and nature here, we see the Fibonacci sequence in the expansion of everything in nature, right? The way that plants grow, you know, some show it really obviously, we've all seen it, the spiraling patterns, you know.
Sorry,
yeah, so if we
pause there, but you're talking about spiraling pattern.
Yeah, so if you take like the sedum plant, it's a really obvious, you can see that spiral Fibonacci pattern that's expanding and spinning, and it looks just like, on a greater level, a galaxy. A spiral galaxy, right? And then even if you look in nature, you look at the patterns of the way things are formulated, it is all like numerical formula. And so this is why Pythagoras understood all is number. And then we move to the vibrational energy and frequency of number. And then this is where we tap all numbers 1 to 9, right? The reason we focus on 1 to 9 is because they're actually, ultimately, when you reduce all numbers, there is no other number. You know, there's formulas, there's things like infinity, the infinity symbol, right? And there's other symbols that are used in mathematics. But when we speak specifically of numbers, 0 and 1 to 9, there's nothing else. Everything comes back to that. And so that's why, if we understand the vibrational energetic nature of each, of what the role each one is playing on a micro and then a macro level, then we really start to feel the magic and all that can come from that, you know, like we were saying, like synchronicity through numbers and messages through numbers. So on a
fascinating world, you've got me completely mesmerized by it. And when you start talking about spirals and, you know, Fibonacci sequences, I'm all ears.
So here's kind of how, just to try and, you know, communicate how this feels for me, right? So 0 to 9 or 1 to 9, we've got the soul journey, right, on the grand scale. So we're talking incarnations over eons of time. The soul incarnating, going right throughout the cosmos, different constellations, different planets, different dimensions, different experiences, wherever that soul evolution of consciousness is at. So we've got that level of it going on. So I'll talk about that before we drill down to, you know, the life path of your mission here now on Earth this lifetime, right? Which is more of the numerology. So if we look at the 0 to 9, so we start with 0, right? The 0 point. And I'm sure most of our viewers know what we mean when we talk about the 0 point. So it's the space. It's the space of creation from which all came. Then came the light. That is number 1. 1 represents the light, because 1 represents the sun, okay, which is a star. So then came the light. So from the 0, we move into the 1. You know, something happened, whether it was a big bang, I don't know. You know, whatever it was that activated the creation of our cosmos and universe as we know it, whatever happened, I always see it as we came from the wholeness of the 0 point into the light. We became the light. I think that's the first line in the Bible, isn't it? Like, let there be light. Or
yeah.
It was certainly one of the first things in the Bible. So then came the light, and then from the light we split into duality and polarity. Hence we create electromagnetism throughout an electromagnetic universe, right? So then we've moved from the 0 to the 1 to the 2. Now we want to move to the 3. We want to express creatively that which source creation wants to experience. So we're moving into the 3, which is the expression of the 2 and the 1 and the 0 and all of that, the light, so the space, creation, energy, light. We're now expressing that. We move to the 4. What is the 4? Bringing things into form. So this is how galaxies, planets, moons, and everything came into form. And then we created this physical, dense reality. So we're moving into the 4. Now we've got Earth, right? Then the soul. So this is like the soul journey right from the beginning of creation, right? And we're all connected.
This is
interconnected,
groundbreaking
right?
for me.
Oh, is it? Right. It's funny because, yeah, it's weird. Like I was saying, like for me, it's like a memory. It's like I'm remembering this, and it's like, oh, okay, this is just the overall picture, and then so I can better understand the smaller micro. So this is the macro, so you can understand the micro, and then they work in both directions. And so now from the 4, we have this physical form reality, a physical reality that's been through the duality polarity process. So we now got, the expansion through divine masculine, divine feminine forces, electromagnetic, right? Oh, that's why the word magnetic came up, because it was going to be related. So
okay, because it's just like out of my mouth. I'm like, what?
Yeah. So now we have physical form in the universe in the 4. Then, because of the forces of polarity, we're in a perpetual expansion. And through doing that, things have to continually, perpetually change. We move to the 5, we've got change, right? And we've learned along our spiritual path that if we make friends with change, because change is the one thing you can count on. Nothing's right, because that's expansion. Because I always think to myself, if anything, so I don't believe that perfection exists. It's like perfection exists within the imperfection. You need that slight imperfection. It's like the Fibonacci sequence, right? As you add the number before it, you get the next one, and then the number that came before that, you add that, and then you get the next one, right? It's ever expanding into infinity. That's why it's such an amazing vibrational number that the universe uses to continue expanding. But it's like, if something was perfected, if creation created perfection, everything would stop. It's almost like it would implode. It would implode because it's perfected. And when we make friends with change and evolution on a soul and a human level, we start to connect with, oh my God, this is the ride. This is exactly what I'm supposed to be enjoying. The constant change and expansion, rather than trying to perfect anything, because you already kind of are perfect in the fact that you're evolving.
Right.
So that's
I'm so glad you brought that point up. I think a lot of people need to hear that when things get messy and ugly in that because transformation is a pretty messy process, and to remember the perfection in the imperfection in those moments can be really valuable.
Absolutely. And it takes going within to do that, and we'll talk more about that. Because funnily, going within, what you do is you go back to the 0 point. You go back to the beginning of creation, because it exists within you. The universe is you. The universe in you is still connected to the thing that, whatever that thing was that created everything. And it sits in the heart, right, and connects with the soul. And that's why we always talk about that with our meditations and stuff. So the 5, we're in expansion now, and things are changing. So we're in expansion, we're changing, and then we move to the 6. And then when we get to the 6, we realize and we start to connect with the fact that as things continue to expand and change, the ultimate thing it always comes back to is love. and we connect with the fact that the universal forces and energy is an energy of love. You know, and that's the 6. And then we, through connecting with the universal force of love, we birth things. And you'll see the 6 looks like a pregnant woman, and that's the, you know, the shapes of the numbers also connect to the meaning of vibrational energy. It looks like a pregnant woman, right? Like the womb. Okay. So we're birthing into existence, constantly birthing new things through our expansion of our souls, of our energy, of our consciousness. And then we move to the 7. The 7, look at the shape of the 7, right, is the heavens coming down and meeting the earth like a lightning strike, right? So it's cosmic mind meeting physical dense reality that's in constant change and birthing new things through you as the vessel for the expansion of consciousness. All right. So this is how we get to the 7. Then we get to the 8. Now the 8, right, being the hourglass of, so it's starting to get a sense of time. It doesn't exist, but it's connecting with, so 8 is about power, right? Power and abundance. So it's experiencing all the available experiences that come through that soul journey that got us to this 8 state of being, where we can feel the power that we've gained within us as mini fractal universes of the whole, fully interconnected infinitely. If you turn the 8 on its side, infinitely, always was, always is, and always will be infinitely interconnected. As consciousness expands and we keep expanding our consciousness into yet more expansion. So it never ends. It's just perpetual. And then we reach the 9. And what the 9 does is the 9 starts to connect us to other dimensions, because it's higher mind. 9 is high integrity and wisdom and higher mind. And it's completion, right? But the reason it doesn't stop there, because what 9 does is it connects you. 9 is about understanding that everyone is an aspect of you and you are an aspect of everyone else, right? And having that higher integrity and wisdom that how I treat you, I'm actually treating myself. Because you are a mirrored form of what is creation, right back to the 0. Yeah. That's what, from which it came. You are the same from which I came from. And when I look at you, you're mirroring back to me the very beginnings of creation. And this is what the 9, so when we get to the 9, right, which also looks like a Fibonacci spiral in itself, pattern, and it's also the mind, the head, right?
Yeah, I was thinking that, and the spine almost.
Yep, higher mind, but always, in its spiraling curvature, so it's always still expanding, right? So wisdom increases. So this is the kind of so this is like the macro 0 to 9 journey of the soul since creation to where we feel like we're at now in time. Also understanding that when you look at it in both directions, past, present, and future, all one, it's all happening simultaneously. Right?
I do an awkward giggle, because I'm like, I get it, but when that concept is new, it's like it fries the brain.
I know. I remember for meditating on just that alone for quite some time, because I was like, I want to integrate or remember or really wake up to, what does that mean? I've got to get my human cognitive mind around the idea that past, present, future are all one.
Yeah.
And this is where we understand timelines, and you've got to go beyond the cognitive human mind in order to get to feeling what that really to be able to integrate it into the frontal lobe. You've got to I don't know how else to explain, but that's what happened to me. It was
like an embodiment of that energy to understand it before the mind can kind of process
it. Yeah. Yeah, because it's not linear, but we are designed
We're wired
still,
that
and
way. Yeah.
we're kind of wired linear. That's right. And that's the other thing about these numbers and the way that I feel into numbers. I'm feeling them in a non-linear way, rather than a mathematician who is only looking at the number in a kind of linear way, right? But the deeper a mathematician dives into numbers, if they keep diving, I guarantee you it changes them forever, because they're like, oh my God, no, hang on, whoa, I've just discovered that everything's connected. Oh my God, right?
And then just forever expanding. I love it.
Yeah. So where was I? So that's the macro journey of the numbers 0 to 9 on a more sort of cosmic soul level, right?
I love the way you put that. To me, I've never made that connection with numbers and that sort of soul journey. And the way you described it, from like 0 point to then light and then splitting, like I was kind of journeying my soul when you were talking about it. I was like tapping into this process recently that has been like going back to my original creational point on my soul's journey to reclaim, like do cosmic soul retrieval, which might be in World Unity Week at some point. But yeah, just fascinating how you can link that through with numbers, and it makes so much sense to me. Yeah,
it really does. And this thing I can't get away from when numbers speak to me, about the fact that there's always simultaneously a micro thing happening while a macro thing's happening. Again, simultaneously. So there's the sense that while I'm going to now go through the numbers 1 to 9 in a more of a numerology, life path, human mission kind of way.
Yeah, awesome.
But the understanding, so what we just went through is what we understand is cycles within cycles. Okay, it's kind of like, okay, a cell, right, and then a body, and then I'm orbiting around you, but then we're on the Earth and we're orbiting around other planets, and then our solar system's orbiting around our galaxy, and our galaxy's orbiting around Andromeda, and then right. So that's what's beautiful about it. But so it's I think it was I had a meditation experience where Ezekiel came to me. And no, that's right, it was a Reiki session. Sorry, it was the only Reiki session I've ever had. And I went to this healer and she did this Reiki session, and she channeled this being with all this. It was a beautiful message. She took me on a soul journey and sat me down on a bench in this kind of light garden. And this being came to me and spoke through her, and it was all. And then right at the end, she said, and my name is Ezekiel. And she'd never heard of Ezekiel. She said, sorry, Donovan, I don't know what to tell you about this Ezekiel. But so, of course, what did? I went home and I'm like, I've got to research who's Ezekiel. And then Ezekiel, the visions that Ezekiel had as a visionary, prophet, he saw these visions of cycles within cycles and wheels within wheels, right? And the head of the likeness of a man and the head of the likeness of a bull. And it's like, oh yeah, Taurus, okay, cool. And so I started piecing all this stuff together, and I'm like, wow, Ezekiel spoke to me, so therefore there might be something. And this is the beauty of like religious information and philosophy and scientific information. If you're willing to be open to everything and close to nothing, you can just keep expanding so much. Yeah. Because I've always said it, I love the Bible. I think it's actually a book full of numerology codes, because there's a number to everything, right? And we've experienced that before. We've experienced that before on the round table. Like, I've had to move the Bible to set up my phone or whatever, and then I've opened the thing and I'm reading. I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what's happening right now in the world. Like, right? So where was I with this Ezekiel? Oh, wheels within wheels. Okay, so cycles within cycles. So this is how numerology and the expansion of numbers and frequencies work. Okay, it's just constant, perpetual cycles within cycles. And I think Tesla called it the symphony of the spheres, right? And I've always loved that, because as soon as I hear that, I can see the planets of the solar system all just doing this and doing it, right? And it's quick and then it's slow. and then there's a retrograde, and then the moon's full, and then it's not full, and it's like a symphony of, it's a dance, you know. If you've ever seen a digital picture of the planets in their orbits sped up, it looks like they're just dancing around each other, you know. And that's, to me, it's like the music of the galaxy. It's gorgeous, you know. And we also know that on a vibrational level, it's almost like that music's always going on in perpetual motion. Whether people think about the planets or think about astrology or they don't, it's happening. It's happening. You know?
Exactly.
The music's being played, you know, out there. You know, I mean, I love how spirituality gets us thinking constantly about, hang on, I'm walking on this earth. I'm not of this earth. I'm on this earth, but I'm not of this earth. I'm something so much bigger, you know. And it's amazing when you do talk to someone where their entire experience of reality is just, oh, I don't even think what's beyond those clouds up there. You know, I don't go out at night and look up the stars and think, hang on, like, how does this all work? You know, you know.
I think for some of us starseeds, we're just wired that way in that remembrance. Because as you were talking about the dance of like the planets and the symphony, and I was getting a bit woozy. If I have a weird look on my face, I'm like, I'm in this cosmic soup as you're describing it, and it took me back to a childhood memory as you were going through that, and I was literally sort of in that space and then out of that space. So what you were just describing, I know from a child, that was something I was deeply connected to, and then it stopped, you know, and then that process of reconnecting again as an adult. Yeah, it's
beautiful, isn't it? And I always think to myself, like with this meditation we'll do at the end, you know, it's really been occurring to me in this year of 2021 with the level of conscious awareness that's just taking off, that when you go anywhere with your mind, or, you know, or you work with your heart and your soul through the mind, through projecting out into the cosmos with your mind. So if we go on a meditation to Jupiter, you're actually going to Jupiter, right?
We'll be doing in the 7/7 transmission, I believe. So join in for that.
Awesome.
I'm so curious about this Jupiter planet.
Especially so I'll talk about that, the planet of expansion and abundance and joy. It's beautiful. But it's like, that's time travel, and we have the ability to do it. In fact, we always have. It's just that maybe in the West, you know, maybe in the East they did a bit more. But, you know, when you drop the body and you get your energy into a state that you travel and you let go of the dense reality, knowing that everything's interconnected in the universe through energy and vibration and frequency, then you're not making it up, right? You're not making it up. When I go to the solar system, I've had this experience so many times. When I go to the solar system, I'm really there, you know?
Yeah.
Or another constellation. And it may happen in dreams too, you know?
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought this point up. And just to share an example of that, I know you and I had a conversation of a very specific name of a place that you had journeyed to in the cosmos. And you described it to me, and then within a week later, this thing passes me, and they speak of that exact place and describe. And I was like, damn, you know, it's you know,
awesome.
That's why I don't like the word meditation, because I think it's so much more than that. And what you're going to facilitate, it's almost like a cosmic journeying, a soul journeying. Some people might know it as like a shamanic journey, but it really is. It's a process of bilocation where you actually, there's an aspect of you journeying and experiencing that in real time.
Yeah, and quantum, you know?
Yeah.
Quantum. It's quantum, superposition, bilocation. Yeah, all of that. It's gorgeous. I love it. I love the new science. It's what now I'll talk about the vibration of the year 2021. Why I'm so excited is because the level of consciousness that's expanding and the awareness that's expanding on the planet is just so mind-blowing, because like, so the 2, the 0, the 2 and the 1 is 2021.
Mm-hmm.
2 2s, a 0 and a 1, right? The last time we had this code was 2012.
Right.
This specific code, right? 2 2s, a 0 and a 1. Right? 2012, 2 2s, 0 and a 1. And here we are at 2021. And I think we spoke a little bit on the last roundtable about the fact that the way that that really presents itself to me is understanding that energetically, the energy of the year 2012 is playing into the year 2021. Right? And what that does is that it's a universal year. 5. It's a 5 universal year. Now, if you look at the 5, right, it's got some structure, but then it's got this curve. Yeah. It rocks back and forth because it's the exact midpoint between the numbers 1 to 9, right? So it could go either way. So when we talk about shifting timelines, potential timelines that don't play out or do play out, whatever we choose as a collective, it's rocking back and forward, and it's reacting to what our consciousness is projecting out. This is what we're creating, as I said before, with the expansion of our awareness, you know, and the choices we're each making on a micro level, and then that goes out into the macro level and becomes the collective experience. Mm-hmm. So 2012 was very similar, because we all, you know, it was sensing this is the shift of humanity. You know, end of the Mayan calendar time, people everywhere throughout the West were starting to talk about, oh my God, like this is going to be the big awakening. And certainly didn't that happen since 2012? It has been exactly that, right?
Oh my God, so much has happened since then. As you said that, I've looked down at the clock and it's 5:05, just to make a note of that.
Perfect. Oh my God, that's so perfect. That's so perfect. I can't remember, when did we start? Are we good for time at the moment?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, cool. So now the thing about a 5 universal year is it equals change. 5 equals change. I think most people know that, right? It's the midpoint, but the thing is you're on the precipice. You could go either way. You could kind of have the experience of going backwards, depending on choices made, or you get to rock and roll and move forwards, right?
Oh, you just got something. You know, I was having thought today, and I was like, this year feels like a carbon copy of last year in so many different ways, on a personal level, on a, you know, like and I was like, the feeling that I got was that we get beyond solstice and everything changed, that rocking that you were just talking about. And I said, that's going to catapult this sort of positive change, I feel, personal, collective. But this year it's going to stick, like that change is going to like follow through, where last year there was like almost the same pattern that was going. It was like a hard start to the year, then there's sort of this breakthrough and things started to move, but then it kind of went to shit again. And so this thing in my head was that like we're following suit, like last year prepared us for this year, but this year is where the actual big change sticks. I don't know if that, sorry, I had to just interject that.
Yes, and I'll tell you why I feel that, right? As you were saying that, I'm seeing the energy of those numbers. Within the number 2021, listen to my words, 2021. 2020 is contained within it.
Right, of course.
2020
but with the
and 1.
Start.
And 1, right?
Mm.
And we're
you're making me so excited.
See? but to explain that and back that up, think about this. Completely different to what happens next year. What happens next year? 222.
Oh.
2022, right? We've still got 2020 in there, plus the 2, but we're now in a triple 5 vibration of the 2s, right? It's really quite different. It's much more potent towards that 2 energy. 2, I'll explain in a minute as we go through them all. Well, I'll get to that. Yeah, but you see how again, you can be presented with some numbers, and then you can feel into, you can get all sorts of encoded information that's not like linear. It's not receiving the information in a linear way. Like, for instance, in numerology, right? So the word unity, so World Unity Week, right? So unity, I can just see it up in my mind's eye, right? UNITY is 35927. Okay. So 3 and 5, 9, 2, and 7 immediately gives me a story. Okay, let's do the unity story. 3, through communicating with each other what we've learned and our new information, the 3, we make, in a year of change, the 5, in a year of change, a 5 universal year, we gain the wisdom and move even more into our integrity. This is the 9, the I, move into our integrity by collaborating and cooperating and working together. That's the 2. We ascend to a whole new level of consciousness and awareness. That's the 7. So that's unity.
I love it when you talk number stories, Donovan. It's my language.
Yeah, but I really want people to understand anybody can do this. This is not rocket science. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In a way, it's just really, you know, in some ways it's actually getting out of your head and getting more into your heart. Yeah. So that's the only way I know how to explain that. But yeah, so everything's encoded with a message and blocks of cosmic information, whether it's a word, a sound, a color, you know, a series of numbers, a picture, right? And that's what we're going to experience in the meditation as well. So there you go. So that's unity. So again, so it's like everything, all is number, you know. So in Pythagorean numerology, as a lot of people know, we take every letter of the alphabet and we assign a number vibration to it, right? And the other thing I wanted to just revisit is that there are many, many different forms of numerology, okay? There's Chaldean or Chaldean Vedic numerology, right, which is more Indian Eastern based. There's Pythagorean, right, based numerology. There's the Kabbalah system, right? Now, they work differently. Sometimes they work things out differently. But ultimately, what I've always felt is it doesn't actually matter, right? It's not about, oh, we're right and you're wrong, or, you know, you're right and we're wrong, or it's really not about that. It's about just connecting deeply. And if it resonates with you, there's a reason it resonates with you, because it's probably a tool you need for your own journey.
Yeah, beautifully said.
You know? So, because there's a lot, I speak to many types of different numerologists and people around the world about numbers, and people interpret them differently, and that's perfect because it's got to be unique to your own vibrational frequency, you know, to take you deeper. So, but Pythagorean is the thing I was born with, the remembering knowledge of, and then the interest in and the passion, and got me on my purpose. So I went with it, and it's still that way today, you know, no matter how much I try to listen to other types of numerology, I always end up coming back to Pythagorean because it just sings to me, it speaks to me.
Yeah. And
you know?
I have no doubt that has been a big part of your soul journey in studying and mastering that, amongst many other things. And then that's just how it kind of evolves, doesn't it? So how it's beautifully evolving through you. So do you want to do the breakdown of the different numbers on a life path level, just so people can get context around what each number represents on a vibrational level?
Absolutely. So we start with the 1. Oh, we did the 0. The 0, basically the 0 is an amplifier, right? So it's like a speaker. And if you think sound, vibration, and frequency, an amplifier is what amplifies the energy out, right? So that's when we have a number that's next to a 0, it amplifies that number. So that's the main thing to remember about the 0. Okay, this is now we're drilling down. We're not talking about the big soul macro stuff we did before about the beginning of creation. Now we're talking more about, you know, the more micro level. So if I read someone's numbers and I see some 0s there and there's a 3 before it, I'm like, that amplifies the 3. Yeah. Or if it's a like if I get given a code on a number plate 550, I'm like, whoa, that's double five energy amplified, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we always get triple number sequences and quadruple number sequences always get our attention just because they're so patterned. It's like, oh my God, that's 444. That's my angels speaking to me, right? So, right?
Yeah.
Or there's many interpretations of that, but there's so much code in any and every number, you know, when you receive number codes. So that's the first thing to understand about the zero. So we start with the one. So the one is basically here to master creativity and confidence. All right. And this kind of real core information goes back to a book that got me on my path by Dan Millman called The Life You Were Born to Live. And he goes through each life path number. And this is just what blew me away, because I had a really bad dark night of the soul experience from some bullying at work. I got depressed. I ended up home. I bumped a book to the floor. I picked it up. It was Dan Millman's The Life You Were Born to Live. I worked out how you work out your life path number. I opened it. I started reading it, and I went, oh my God. I just got flooded with remembering my mission, what I'm here to do. And it resonated so much. I was like, oh my God, numbers. This is it. I'm home. Right. So the one, so the core information, I'll do this with each number. The core information for the one, and the one life path is here to master creativity and confidence, right? So the one, think about it, stands individual, it stands strong, it stands independent. Yeah?
Yeah, I
So
always think independence with one. Yeah.
Yep, heaven to earth, a straight rod. So it's a very connected channel. It's a pillar of light, right? It's a very connected. They're actually very connected to source, right? And all the ones that I've witnessed in my journey, they start out with a lot of confidence issues. They don't believe in themselves. They are born leaders, right? They're first. They're ones. They're the one that steps out, takes the stage. They are the leaders, natural born leaders, right? But in order to fully step into that mission, they need to build on their confidence and believe that they're capable, because they are naturally capable, but they have to overcome confidence issues. And anywhere where creative energy is being stuck is the answer to what their purpose is, because it's creative energy, the one, right? So a one life path will get physical illnesses and things if they got blocked creative energy. They must use the natural forces of creation they were naturally given in this lifetime for this mission. Okay, so that's the one. So yeah, all the things you can think about: stepping out, being a leader, being first. You know, it's like, it's quite a male energy, the one, right? And it's strong. And so yeah, so as long as they're finding out what they're here to creatively do and create, they will naturally lead in that area. And one life path will be your bosses and your managers, the really natural good ones, right? And people that create whole new things, yeah, because it's like innovation, yeah, creation, yeah. So that's your one. And then we go to the two. So the two is a very soft number. It is by far the most empathic number. All right. So they feel everything. All right. Very emotional. Okay. And the thing that they're here to master and to really delve into on their mission is cooperation, balance, and intuition. So accepting their natural ability to be highly intuitive, to understand that their empathic experiences are there to serve them, not to give them a miserable life, right? Because they
Which is the life
everything.
of an empath until you become empowered. Yeah.
Until you realize your gift is in, we always, really started to connect with your passion. Your purpose is in your problems. What you think is your problems actually is the key Once you master why those are there, actually the gifts are contained within that. So for a 2, it's like when you really embrace your intuitive abilities, you actually can use those to serve. And they're here to learn to collaborate and cooperate with others rather than thinking I can do it all myself. Right? That's the 2. So, and then polarity and duality, having the acceptance and really embracing that, there is that duality of life and that both are equally as important, and then balancing that up. Now, the interesting thing about 2s is they can really transform the environment around them just through their presence. They're much quieter. The 1, right? The 1's out there, they're speaking, they're like making lots of noise and stuff. 1s and the 8s, they're the noisiest, right? The 2's the one that sits in the corner, says very little, is picking up on everything, doesn't say much, but really knows what's going on. Yeah.
Feels into the
very,
observes it.
And can transform that energy just by a look. Like, group of people all being noisy and they just don't say anything, and then they just give a look and everyone goes, oh, I know what they're thinking, because they've tapped the energy, right? And the reason it's softer, so look at the shapes of the numbers, right? 1 is a little more rigid. 2's got the curve and a straight line. So we look at the curves and the straight lines. Okay, so with the 2, it's quite a soft number and very grounded. They're very sensible, our 2s. And they're the peacemaker, so they're the mediator. So think of anything, 2 parties trying to get along, to collaborate, cooperate, or just get along in an interaction. The 2 comes in and they can mediate the 2 energies. They can they're really good counselors and mediators and caregivers. So that's the 2. So they're here to really master their intuition, learn to accept and find that balance, and learn to collaborate and cooperate, and they'll have a great life. So the 3. Now, of course, I love talking about the 3, being a 33. We'll talk about the master numbers at the end, but the 3. So the theme of the 3 is self-expression and sensitivity, right? And compassion. It is the most compassionate number. All right. And we always think of the Holy Trinity, the 3. We've got the triangle, right? And as we understand, with an upward triangle, we've got divine masculine, downward triangle, divine feminine. That's 3 and 3, which makes 6. And you'll see how 3 and 6 and 9, they really do have a pattern and a blueprint and an energy that all works in with each other. 1, 5, and 7 work with each other, and 2, 4, and 8 work with each other. All right. So there's 3 lots of 3 going on within the number 1 to 9. So 3. So 1, I forgot to relate them to their planetary celestial body. So okay. 1 is the sun. 1 represents the sun. So it's like shine your light. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
All right. 2, soft, nurturing. What do you think?
Is it the moon?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Beautiful, right? So it's feminine, it's nurturing, it's loving, it's careful, caring. And then again, that people that work with moon rituals and with the moon, the energies of the moon, it's all about heightened intuition and psychic abilities. That's why we always have massive dreams and amazing experiences in meditation around full moons, or any, certainly eclipses, lunar eclipses and
things like that,
full moons and new moons, 100%. So 1 is the sun, 2 is the moon, now 3. So 3 is Jupiter for me, okay? But it's also 7. Now I'll explain because Jupiter is the biggest celestial body in our solar system. It's so big it needs 2 numbers.
Of course, why not?
All right. And the way this works for me, and as I said, there's different systems, and some people will go, no, Jupiter's something else for me, or whatever. All right, this is how I feel them, and the reason I feel into them this way is because when you look at astrology, you look at the personality of each planet and what it represents. It just marries up so beautifully with the Pythagorean numbers. All right. So Jupiter is the planet of joy and expansion and good luck.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Would you agree? Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Doing things in a grand way, right? And pure joy and expansion, and it's about optimism, and it's like, whoa, this is like amazing, right? So this is the personality of someone with a 3 life path, or a lot of 3s in their blueprint, right? They're very optimistic, ever the optimist. This I'm a double that, so I can be annoyingly optimistic. In fact, intensely annoyingly optimistic when someone wants to be miserable and having a hard time. I'm like, can you stop being so damn happy? And I'm like, no, I can't help it. Sorry. I always looking on the bright side of life, So self-expression and sensitivity. So what the 3 is here to master is to overcome oversensitiveness, and how that plays out in a three life path is very much about learning not to live your life by the opinions of others.
Right.
Because it's very debilitating to a 3, and it will stop them fully expanding in their mission, because it's petrifying until they learn to master that, it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't like me. It doesn't reduce my worthiness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
A lot of self-worth work on a 3 life path, 3 energy. As I said, ever the optimist, and the thing about 3, is they are very compassionate, like so compassionate, right? And they're just naturally compassionate. And the self-expression, okay, so it's the artist, the writer, the speaker, and the communicator, right? And you can tell with me, I really enjoy communicating because I got that double 3 energy with my 33, right?
And the musician in you as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I made that connection when you were talking about it. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. So creative self-expression coming in any form: poetry, writing, making movies, making music, artistic endeavors. Okay. It's all about bringing your message to the world, communicating your message to the world through any form or means of creative self-expression. Right. And a lot of 3s, you'll find that it's not just one; they'll have many forms. Like I've got a friend; she's an artist. She could make anything with her hands, and then she could do digital art as well. And I'm just like, oh, where does it end? Like, and she can write songs and poetry, and it's like, right. So and she's got a lot of 3s in her blueprint. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a question I was going to throw in there, because I mean, we have our individual life path number, we have our destiny expression number, there's various different, but we all have different numbers through our name too. Can we identify with different aspects of different numbers as well? Do they weave in and out of our life? I know that's probably a hard question to give a short answer to, but
no, I can sort of break that down really, really quickly and easily. Remember what I did with Unity, right?
Yep.
So we take their name, Alisha Braché. It gives us a series of numbers, and it tells a story, right? So our life path, which comes from our birth date, is cosmically set in stone. You can't change your birth date, right? You just can't. It's just designed that way. You can't change it, right? But you can change your name. And what your destiny number is how you will go about achieving the mission that the life path. Okay, so your life path is, here's what my mission is, this incarnation, here's what I'm here to master. And that's my path. So, so it's like when you're getting off your path, you'll have experiences that will pull you back on your path, right? That's your life path number that is cosmically set the day you were born. But with your name, you can change your name, right? So you can make decisions. So again, everything in its opposite. Some things are set in stone, while things are, totally changeable. It's both at the same time. Okay. So, so Alisha is 139181. 139181. Right?
Yeah, cool.
Is that right?
I have to see that.
139 ALI 139 SHA is 181. Right? How many ones are in there?
Yeah, I was about to say there's a lot of ones in there.
Right. So it makes you very much, there's always that leader energy. As long as we call you Alisha, there's that leader energy. There's that one that's willing to step forward, shine her light, and step forward and lead the way, which is exactly what you do, right? And then with the 9 in there, we've got all this cosmic wisdom that comes from the 9, the higher mind, yeah? And then we've got the 8, which is also happens to be your life path number, so it strengthens your life path number. You've got the inner power to do it, right? You also have the ability to make money and create abundance and manifest abundance in your life through stepping forward and being that leader and doing it in the way that you've got the connection to the cosmos with the 9 higher integrity and wisdom. See how it tells a story?
Oh, Donovan.
And that's just Alisha. That's just Alisha. Like, what's your middle name again?
Monique.
Oh, you're kidding me. Oh my God, that's such a synchronicity. How funny. Wow. I'll tell you about that another time. All right. Okay. And then, so you can see it's all encoded, but some people, they don't like the way their life's going or whatever. And they might think this is a conscious decision they make for some other reason. But when you change your name, you change the energy of the way that your life, your destiny is going to play out. It's like when you pick a business name, right? Cosmic Gateway has a vibrational energy about it and a number blueprint in it.
Yeah.
Okay. Number vibrationalist, I meditated, I got given that name because I'm like, what's the real essence of what this is? What am I? Like, what am I doing here? What's this mission? And I got given the name. And then when I wrote down the numbers, I was like, oh my God, it equals 99.
Of course it does.
And I was like, whoa, I think I nailed it. Like, I'm like, yep, that was the right name that was given to me. Even though at first I was like, no, that's way too long. Okay. Vibrationalist. No one can say vibrationalist. and then my email address is Donovan Gall numbervibrationalist@gmail.com. You try telling an operator over the phone that email address, it's a nightmare. The funny thing is when I have to break
I've been typing up this stuff for World Unity Week, it's like trying to autocorrect me and tell me just
yeah. So I go like the word number, and they're usually good with that number. Yeah, got it. And I'm like, vibration, and they like, as in like things moving, and I'm like, yeah, vibration. and then a list. So
good one.
So I'm on the A list of good vibrations as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, that's one way to look at it. All right, so we got off the track because we're going to wrap up soon. I know.
Going back to 4.
We're all right. So Jupiter 3, self-expression and sensitivity and compassion. All right. So moving on to the 4. So 4 for me is the Gaia number. Okay. Because 4 is here to master stability and process. It's very practical. It is logical. It's very much the physical reality. So that's why it's Earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's about structure and foundation, right? The 4 is the person in the room, in the group that you go, I'll give it to them, they'll get it done. Yeah. It's hard. It's the hard worker, and they love it. All right. The 4 vibration loves hard work. They love to be given a task and they master it. And they're like, yeah, it feels good to really work hard and get this done. And very logical. They've got to be careful not to get too stuck in their energy by being too logical and not being willing to be open to other things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But they're very structured in everything that they do. Generally, they're like cleanliness, things all in order. 4 certainly rules OCD, that's for sure. Yeah. Okay. Putting things all in line and getting the labels all lined up, and yep, I like everything in its rightful place, right? That's 4 energy. So here to find stability, right? And to work through the process and not try to skip steps along their mission, right?
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful number because it's also very connected to the earth. The 2 numbers that are most connected to animals and nature is the 4 and the 6, right? Because 4 is earth. It is literally nature. So 4's love to ground in nature. 4 is the most grounding of the numbers, Yeah.
I was going to say it feels a very grounding number. And as you said, animals, I do apologize in advance. I have animals in the background. I picked up on
No,
that
that's
as you
okay.
said that.
It's funny because whenever you say, I never hear them.
Oh, okay. I'm always conscientious. You may. She's.
No. Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Hi, Luna. Hi, Luna. Oh, she just wants us to know she's here with her 2 energy, with the name Luna, with her moon energy.
Yeah, I know.
So that's okay. So that's the 4. So and the reason 4s are so important and so good to have around, because if you think of a team of people, a family, a group of people, whatever, you need the leaders, you need the hard workers, right? We need those 4s. You know, they're the architects, they're the builders, they're the people that can work with their hands to create an earth and ground something real, tangible, physical. Yeah. Unlike me as a 33-6, like I'm a visionary person. I'm off the planet, but you need the visionaries, because from which all comes is like, first you have to have a thought and a vision before you can create something. Yeah.
So
this is why 4s are really important. So they're our earthy people, right? They love organic gardening and soil and compost, I'm sure. So yeah, so again, they're here to master stability and process, not try to skip steps, because if they try to skip steps, they have a really miserable time and they'll just keep falling flat on their face. You'll have to come back and do each step in its right process. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Process, structure.
Moving on to
stability.
Structure, setting a solid foundation upon which we build from, and that could be in a more metaphorical way too, right? The 4 is going to be the list maker. They're going to sit down and go, right, what are my intentions I want to set? You know, if they're working on their self, their their intentions and what they want to manifest, they'll set it out in a list and they'll put it in order. You know, it's all about order and form, the 4. All right. And then we move to the 5. Now, 5 is the life of the party, right? Your 5 life path is here to experience all the fruits that life has to offer. It is the storyteller, the comedian, right? The chameleon. It's basically, it's just like, oh my God, it's like squirrel moments, right? Everywhere. It's like, oh, what's that? Oh, what's next? Oh my God. Oh, and then this, and then that, and they want a piece of it all, right? Right? Now, this is what's interesting about being 2021, being in a 5 universal year energy. It can be very scattered energy, right? And as you know, on the planet right now, it is so, like, we do use the word chaos out there. Like it's just all over the place. It's just like there's so much happening, and it's all happening at once. It's like, where do I look? What do I focus on? Oh my God, it's all right. So this is what the 5's here to master, because in fact, what they're mastering is freedom and discipline. And the thing that the 5's here to master is to find the freedom within the discipline, right? Because a 5 energy it's so malleable, they'll never achieve anything. They'll never do anything. They'll just experience lots of stuff, but they'll feel lost and they'll feel scattered and they'll makes sense. So what they do is, and they're also the freedom fighters. They're the ones that's, they're the revolutionary holders. Yeah. They're going to go out there and they're going to cause a revolution. They're going to go, let's make, because it's change. It's the number of change, as I was saying, right? So the other thing that a 5 is here to master is to make friends with change, but learn to channel changing experiences and all these experiences and use it for something that's going to make a big impact and a difference in the world, that's going to change something for the better. Yeah. But if they have the discipline, they actually just naturally do very, very well. It's when they're too scattered, it's sort of like it just dissipates. It's just constant experiences, and it doesn't really, it doesn't actually end up very well for them. Actually, 5 in a lot of ways rules addiction, because they want to try everything. Yeah. I want to try the drugs. I want the drink. I want the, the acid and the ecstasy and right. So, they can be very out of body and all that sort of stuff. So they need to ground that and with some discipline, and that's how they find their freedom. And once they work that, amazing people, and they're the best people to have around because they're the most fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that person at the party who's just like talking a million miles an hour and just cracking joke after joke, and they never run out. That's your 5 energy, right? So I love having them around, right? But as the revolutionary ones, it goes with the planet Uranus for me. Okay, because
yeah, okay.
Uranus is the great transformer, change, right? On a big scale, you know, and 5s have the ability to make great changes to the planet and to everybody around them, and show them that there's a different way of doing things.
Yeah.
You know, that nothing drives a 5 energy person more insane than a 4 person who goes, no, this is the way we've always done it. Let's keep doing it like that. And they're like, but is it working for you? No, try something different. Right? That's your 5. And they're like, oh my God, you 4s really frustrate me, right? Because they're like, no, but make a list and make sure that we, you know, they're very traditional, the 4s, right? Traditional. And rules, they love rules and obligations, whereas the 5's like, huh, fuck the rules, I hate rules. Sorry, I shouldn't swear, but
no,
yeah. So that's to get a sense of the 5. So that's the 5. Now moving on to the 6. Now the 6, I mean, it says so much straight away when I say it's the planet Venus, right? Right. So what comes to mind when what themes come to mind when I tell you that 6 is the planet Venus? What do you know about the 6 vibrational energy?
Love, beauty, joy, harmony, balance, family, home, art, luxuries.
Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, beauty, lots of beauty. They'll make any space beautiful, you know. They also make a space beautiful just by being their presence, bringing it in. So 6 is vision and acceptance. That's what they're here to master, right? So they are the visionaries, right? They have great ability for visions and seeing ideas on how things could be, and bringing that vision. The thing that's really challenging for the 6 vibration is there's a couple of things. It's acceptance, because they have such high ideals of themselves. And this is where the 3, remember I said 3 and 6 relate with 3, 6 and 9. 3 is oversensitive. The 6 has a bit of that, right? What the 6 is here to master is to not set such high ideals of themselves that they actually give up before they achieve anything, because they're like, well, if it's not perfect, like overcoming perfection. If it's not perfect, what's the point in trying? You know, that's the 6 lesson that they're here to master, and not overgiving, right? The 6 is all about love. It is a teacher. Yeah. They make the best facilitators. They make the best teachers, childcare workers, you know, nurses, animal carers, because they are by far like really intuitively connected with animals. Yeah. But the 6 is here to express love, teach about love, show the world that there is love, you know, and through the beauty that they exude. But once they, and the other thing is about not just high expectations of themselves, they have to learn acceptance of others with all their imperfections, right? Because they set very high standards for people. And if people don't live up to them, they actually can become quite negative, right? Or apathetic. What they're here to master is just accept and love people as they are. And what they end up doing inadvertently is they master unconditional self-love, and therefore unconditional love out in the world.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful vibration. And again, and it's also birthing and children. So it's mothering. It's very much parenting, both father and mother, but birthing. So it's like having children, bringing up children, everything to do with children, and having that connection that, you know, children are like the future, and how we treat our children and how we cultivate those children will determine where our collective goes. You know, they've just got a natural sense for that. So yeah, you gotta love your 6s. You know, and people need to listen to 6s because they have that vision, that visionary, like beyond time. They can travel see something in the future timeline that's like, oh yeah, we need to create that now and bring it back, and they'll go, I've got this amazing idea. It's like, yeah, that's your sixes. Okay, moving on to the 7. We're nearly there. 7. So 7, the lightning strike, as we said earlier, right? Now, 7 is where science and spirituality come together, right? The thing that the 7's here to master is actually trust and openness, all right? They have a lot of trust issues, 7 vibrations, or anyone with a lot of 7s in their blueprint. But once they learn to trust, and through their open mind, they are like highly connected, right? Again, heaven to earth, right? Highly connected. And it's what rules electricity, 7. Okay. Now 7 is the student and the professor at the same time, right? It's all about study, searching, seeking, and finding answers, right? It is the spiritual seeker. It rules meditation. So they often will go along their path, and when the full vibration of the 7 kicks in, they will find spirituality, and they'll go, yeah, I need to go learn about this now, right? But while they're doing that, they're reading a book over here on quantum physics and quantum science, because they want to know that anything that you guys over here in woo-woo land say, I want you to prove it with facts, right? Because they're the best skeptics, the 7, right? Yeah. But they are beautiful. And one thing I want to mention is 1. So the independent numbers 1, 5, and 7, even though 5's the party, life the party, 1, 5, and 7, they do need their own space, or they get very drained. Right. So the 7 particularly, I know because my mum's a 7. One of my sisters, one of my 3 sisters, she's also a 7, but different ones. One's a 34/7, the other one's a 43/7. Yeah. And so that plays out slightly different. But the thing is, they do need that time to themselves to recuperate and recover when they've been around other people. They are also, again, very intuitive. 7 is the number of spirituality. Yeah. So for me, it's planet Neptune.
I was about to say, it's got to be Neptune, right?
Right. And the thing about Neptune is, for me, it's the planet of dreams. It's the dreamy, watery world. So, Neptune really represents all that the 7 is, because the 7 was also, being such a natural meditator and higher mind, again, moving, heading towards that 9, they've got that connection to heaven. They can travel. They can go with their minds, and they can travel. The thing about the 7 is they've got to be careful to get into their heart, ground themselves with, that electricity, ground yourself, because you can actually get a bit off planet and not come back. Yeah. But yeah, they make the best skeptics, and also 7 rules depression. So if they're too much in the mind, they can cause themselves a lot of overthinking, which can lead them to depression and overwhelm. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, certainly a spiritual seeker and a student of science, and so they make the best scientists and the best lab technicians, and things that deal with data and facts and figures. Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah. So that's why I get that Neptunian watery energy, because it also 7 rules dreams, and Neptune's very much the dreamy, watery planet we go to connect with that dreamy other dimensional state of being. Yeah. Cool. Then we move to the 8. All right. I know we're going long, but we're nearly there. I told you this is going to be long.
Oh, good.
All right. So the 8, we've arrived at the 8. Now, oh my God, anyone who knows an 8, oh my God, right? Power and abundance. All right. So the 8, all right, a perpetual flowing energy that is very karmic. I was thinking about this, tapping this earlier. The 8 is also very connected to karma. It's a very karmic number. And all I can say from so much experience I've had with 8 life paths around me and 8 vibration is, when they learn lessons, they learn them hard. Right? And it's because of their huge energy field. Such strong energy field. You never want to piss off an 8, because you're going to find out about it, right? Because when they bring the full force of that energy field, you're going to feel this huge energy coming at you. And you're like, whoa, that's like cosmic energy. Like that's huge energetic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So power and abundance. So the thing about the 8 is, and here's what the 8's here to master: power and abundance, right? They can be the richest, most manifest all the materialistic stuff in the world, have the best of everything, right? And shitloads of money and all that sort of stuff, right? But the interesting thing about the 8 is it's about learning service to others is how you gain that abundance. You don't get it through service to self. Okay, so the 8, I've seen some 8s, some people with some really strong 8 energy, and they're in total service to self. They're totally materialistic, which is part of the 8 vibration, right? They know how to manifest and materialize money, things, right? But man, they can have some issues in their relationships, and they go through lesson after lesson. And they're not, when you watch an 8 go through a lesson, oh my God, it's messy. It's like devastating. It's like hurricane shit, like, because they've got such a strong natural power about them, right? And if an 8's going through a hard time, everybody around them's going to feel it because they've got such a massive, strong energy. They have that inner natural power that others struggle to learn, the other numbers have to learn. They're absolutely natural. They're the business person, they're the entrepreneur, right? They could make a business out of anything if they're in the right place within themselves, right? And again, just they can easily manifest money. Money just comes and goes. But if an 8 vibration wants to hang on to their abundance, again, it's about learning that lesson that, the real mission that you're here for, because 8s feel very deeply, right? Again, very intuitive. They feel very deeply, but it's about service to, not just service to self, right? And as we know, that very harsh 8 vibration is probably because we've been living in a very money-based paradigm, right, on the planet. It's quite a masculine energy, the 8, right?
Yeah, it really is.
If it's too materialistic,
I think Chinese business.
yeah, right. I mean, just look at it like the talking about banking systems and money, right? Which is all 8 energy, and then Chinese talk about how 888 and 88, and it's the luckiest number, and they're like, you'll get money, oh, and it's like, yeah, but interestingly, when you dive deep into what the 8 has to learn in order to hold on to that abundance, because it will come and go, you'll always get it, it'll be flowing in and out, but if you want to stabilize and hold on to that abundance, it's about realizing that your mission is to serve for the good of all and not just be focused on serving self. And that, otherwise you're going to get some tough lessons. And this is why it goes, for me, it goes with 2 planets, because we got the 8, right? 2 sections to the 8, the number 8, Saturn and Mars, right? It's fiery, right?
Yeah, okay.
So Mars, with all its motivation, drive, energy, fire, the god of war, it's all that Mars is, right? It's got all that energy about it, the number 8, but it also has Saturn, which is the great teacher that comes back, and it's like, if you didn't learn a lesson, Saturn's going to return. Saturn returns. I'm coming back. I'm gonna destroy everything so that you get back to the core of what you are, who you are, and what you're here to do.
So I'm a life path 8, and I have I was born with Saturn retrograde.
Right, very interesting.
Yeah,
that's
through
very
a
interesting.
Vedic astrology, and when I had my chart done, and he looked at the Saturn retrograde in my chart, and he was like, "Oh, heavy karma in this lifetime."
yeah. And were you a 26 out or a 35 out? I always get mixed up.
26.
I always forget. 26, right. So 2, relationships, right? The high intuition, the softness, the sensitivity and softness. 6, relationships, family, karma, right? All that stuff to make the 8, which, once you master. So again, people have to understand that with a life path number, you look at the numbers that create the final digit. You don't discount them because they give even more information. because a 35-8 is going to be very different vibration to a 26-8.
Yeah. I love
But
the way
yeah,
you
Saturn in retrograde. Yeah, Saturn in retrograde, because what you've actually got, if you think about the planets, a 26-8 life path is actually the moon, and Venus makes Saturn. Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
Right. This is why you're always carrying on at me like, oh my God, it's the new moon, it's the full moon. Oh, I'm so emotional. Right. And then right. And then we do the 6-6 transmission, and you're like, oh, it's Venus, it's all the Venusian beauty, the love. I'm feeling the love, you know.
That was by far my favorite transmission so far.
Right. And it was, I said to you, it was like a warm, loving hug, that transmission, because it had that Venusian energy. That's the 6 energy, and it's in your blueprint. 2, 6 makes 8. Yeah. Cool.
So
that's our 8.
lucky
And then we end up at the 9. So it's a big journey. And this is the micro Earth life path mission purpose journey part of it, you know. I mean, it's just ever expanding. It's just unbelievable where it can take you. But so the 9 is here to master integrity, higher integrity, and wisdom, right? So if anyone really wants to understand the vibration of the 9, think the Gandhi path, Mahatma Gandhi, right? It's the humanitarian, and it's the sense that I am connected to the whole, because you've gone through the full journey of all the numbers 1 to 8 are actually are contained within the number 9. And I know I spoke to you about your 9 personal year this year, right? About how it all comes together. Isn't it funny how it's all happening with World Unity Week? It's all coming together, yeah? Totally perfect, and it makes sense. So the 9 is also about completions, right? It's learning to complete things. But the really big one that I've noticed so much about the 9 is what they're here to master is they have to let go of the past. They can get really stuck. If they get stuck like a dog with a bone on past experiences, hurts, resentments, they don't have a very good time. In fact, they can have a really miserable time. One of my sisters has a lot of 9 in her path, and she's had a lot of issues with parents, right? And that's part of that 9 vibration is like hanging on to issues with the parents about how you were brought up and where they got it wrong, and right. And the higher wisdom, the higher mind is all about, as we know, in order to connect with higher mind and really move to that next level of ascension, because you've done the full journey, you're ascending out the 9, forgiveness. It is learning forgiveness to the greatest level. And then once they can do that, forgive themselves and forgive others, they actually become so magnetic, right? They actually get followers naturally. People want to follow them, like that Gandhi thing, right? And because people sense the peace within the chaos, they're at peace with themselves. They're at peace with all the vibrations of the numbers that got them to the 9. They've got all the wisdom. They've got the integrity, yeah? A lot of 9s may start out very dishonest and have to learn, don't lie, don't steal, because actually it's not the way. You don't need to. You've got all the beauty within you they also manifest a lot, anything they want, and all the beauty in life is on offer to them once they tap into their integrity and their natural ability for higher wisdom and understanding. So yeah.
And
so that's the 9. Now 9 for me, okay, 9 for me is also Pluto. Not just because it's right out there on the end of the outer planets. Yeah. That's sort of part of it. It's kind of how I see it and how I feel it, right? But also with that high vibration of the 9, and in Chaldean numerology, when they work out letters, not the birth date, they do the same thing. But when they work out letters, they only go 1 to 8 because the 9 is so sacred. They believe it's unattainable, right? Because it's such a high cosmic vibration, the 9, right? It's connected to other dimensional, states of being. So Pluto, right, is right out there, right on the end of the solar system, right? It's even being debated, are you a planet or you're not a planet? You know, oh no, you're a little planet, you're a, you know. It's the deep, dark depths of the soul is Pluto, you know, it's the karmic stuff. It's like it represents the soul's long journey over eons of time. And this is the thing about the 9, containing all the journey from all the numbers, all the vibrations, the lessons of the numbers 1 to 8, culminating in the 9 before we start again. And then we cycles within cycles, we go again, you know. So, and I know a lot of people think that if you're a 9 life path, they go, oh, this is my last life on earth. I personally don't personally feel anything about that to be particularly true for me. It may be right, I don't know, but you know, because I see karma very differently. The law of karma, the law of cause and effect, is actually a perpetual machine. That is the thing that keeps expansion in its motion. And this whole thing about getting off the karma wheel, is it really a thing? Because karma is actually the law of cause and effect in our universe, perfectly designed to keep things moving in a way. I don't really know that the point of life is to try to get, or the soul journey is to get off the karma wheel necessarily, because a lot of people I know think karma means, oh, you did this to me, whether in this lifetime or past life, you did this to me, therefore at some point that's got to happen to you. I don't really see it that quite that linear and simplistic. To me, it's like the law of cause and effect through energy exchange. And somewhere in the universe, you know, a star's dying while one's being born. That's cause and effect, you know. Every word I speak to you and every energy I send your way and every thought I have about you is interacting with the whole. So somewhere something's got to have a reaction to that. And I just don't know, you know, how a lot of people talk about, oh, getting off the karma wheel. You can heal yourself to the level you can actually get out of the incarnation cycle and get off the karma wheel. I don't know. I don't know. That's where I'm at the moment about that. I'm like, but karma is a law of the universe that keeps things moving in expansion and growth and expanding consciousness. So I don't know. Interesting subject.
A reset. When you're talking about that, like a reset of
with the 9.
Yeah. The completion of 3D karma, and then you start a whole new frequency of experiences that can have cause and effect. I don't know.
Right. Maybe that's why Ezekiel said to me, wheels within wheels, cycles within cycles, right? Oh,
doesn't mean that it stops, it continues, but it's like resolving one.
Completed. Yeah, that's a completion, because that's what the 9's about, completion. And we're all going on a 9-year cycle, a personal 9-year cycle before it repeats every time, right? So you're in your 9-year cycle. And once you have your 9-year this year, you actually make room to start a whole new 9-year cycle next year with your one personal year next year. So cycles and cycles. Yeah.
I love that.
Cool.
It's beautiful. So are you going to take us on a bit of a cosmic journey?
I am. I'm going to calm down now because I get so excited.
You just have such a wealth of wisdom and knowledge that just comes through. It's amazing to listen to.
Thank you.
And just, I want to say thank you for sharing that with all the numbers and breaking it down and the attributes and the life journey, because not all of them, but so many of them I could relate to aspects of. And it was like, oh, little light bulbs. So I hope that, you know, for the people watching and joining in with us on this replay, you know, you've been able to, that's been helpful to you to sort of, oh, okay. And of course, connecting with Donovan to go deeper into the work that he does personally and one-on-one is highly transformative in itself. So I just
beautiful. I
share that before we try to
thank you. Yeah, just
to
kind of settle this very beautiful energy that got sparked up with my excitement. I'm glad you said that. You reminded me that I'd love to say to people, it's really interesting when you, so if you look at your life path number or your destiny number or whatever, right, and you're focusing on one of your particular numbers in your number blueprint. So like if like you mentioned, if like for me as a life path 33, a double 3 energy, go and look at Jupiter in your astrology chart, see where it's like what house is it sitting in, you know. because you've got that amplified in your numeral. And this is why numerology, it kind of works hand in hand. And I love that.
Yeah.
I really love that. You know, it's like the chakras work with numbers, you know, they also represent, you know, different colors, different energies, different parts of aspects of yourself. You know, 7 chakras, or, you know, up to 9 chakras if you go to Soul Star and above, right? It all comes together, if that's what resonates, you know. But I do love to encourage people to look at the connections with their astrology chart. Yeah. So if you've got a 7 life path, go look where Neptune is, you know, what degrees it's sitting in, what house, and what constellation, you know. And it can really start to all come together, and you're like, wow, God, this is amazing. This blueprint stuff. It's like, it's ever expanding, and I can learn so much from it.
8th house. I'd have to go and look at that.
Oh, Mars in the 8th. Oh my God, that's like the home house of Mars, isn't it?
I think I have to go look at that. But I was like,
oh
trying to think
man,
about
that's really interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, we'll have that chat another time, and we won't do it now, but we'll get into master numbers one time. We'll just do a whole thing on master numbers.
Yeah, cool.
That will be fun. So yeah. All right, let's
journeying. Yeah, let's do it.
You say something for a minute, because I'm gonna lie down, because when I guide meditations, I like to lie down. So
cool, awesome. All right. Well, as you get prepared, everyone at home, you might want to lie down as well and get comfortable, relaxed, take a moment just to rearrange, light a candle, light some incense, get some water, whatever it is going to make you feel comfortable. I'm, as Donovan is going to lead and facilitate this cosmic journeying, I'm going to hold the energy space and just sort of facilitate that for everyone watching on this live, and also for anyone who watches this on a replay at any time. I'm just going to facilitate that energy space for this journeying and transformation and information.
Beautiful. Thank you. Oh, it's perfect. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Good. All right. There we go. All right.
I love how everyone has their own individual quirks. Like, you have to lie down to do it. I can't do it without music. You know, we all have our little thing, don't we?
Yeah, it is true. And I love saying that about soul journeying and meditation. There's no rules. Do it your way. It's so important.
Yeah.
You know, again, like receiving synchronistic numbers and codes and messages.
As I start this at 6:06. Sorry.
What was that?
As we begin this, it's 6:06 right now.
Oh, lovely. That's very Venusian. That's lovely. That's perfect. As we're going to connect into our hearts now. So yeah. So everyone just get comfortable. Lie down if you want to lie down. Close your eyes, and as we take a deep breath, so let's just quickly do a nice body scan. So we're just going to breathe a little deeper, and we're just going to feel into the body any tension, any tingles, any soreness, any tightness. I'm just going to hone in on where that is, and we're just going to breathe into it. Remembering that contained within the breath is the already present healing energies that exist everywhere at all times. All we need to do is breathe that energy in and release. All right, so just listening to my voice as we go. Just relax. We just want to drop the cognitive mind now, the linear mind. And just tap a little deeper inside. As we relax, release, and starting to feel lighter. Just dropping away the density of the body. Starting to feel light. And we're just going to forget all the worries you've ever had in your life. We're not going to think about anything but just be here. And we start to look through the inner eye into the void. Into the space with the inner eye. We may see washes of colours. This is in fact cosmic waves of energy just washing over you. Just feel connected. And as we open this eye, we're going to gently, with ease and with grace, we're going to lift ourselves up out of the body and start to move upward out of the space that you're in, and we're going to start moving and flying effortlessly upward out of the building, up towards the sky and the clouds. As we start to flow and move more quickly, we're just floating up further and further. And as the horizon starts to darken, there's a sense that the earth behind us is getting further away. It's getting smaller as we head towards the moon. And we can see the moon starting to come into view, starting to become larger as we get closer, feeling those moon energies. And we're just going on a trip and a journey through the celestial bodies. So we're just going to fly past the moon. So let the moon pass you by as we head towards Venus. Venus starting to come into view. Getting closer, we feel the Venusian energies. We can start to feel our high heart being activated. This is the heart of your soul. Feel love waves, cosmic waves of love starting to wash in as you head closer to Venus. It's coming in very close now. feeling that energy. And we're just going to let Venus pass us by. And we keep moving. And there's a very, very small celestial body a long way away called Mercury. Starts to come into view. And it's very powerful. And it starts to come a little closer into view as we move towards the Mercury energy. We start to feel the communication that exists throughout the cosmos. We can feel connected and communicative with all other beings, planets, and moons throughout the cosmos. As the messenger heads towards us, Mercury, you may receive a message from Mercury. Just let it come. It may be words, numbers, an image. You may be presented with a being who wants to tell you something. Or it may be a feeling that you get as Mercury comes very close now, the messenger. And as we move past Mercury, we start to focus in on the sun. Our sun, our star. And this is where we're headed. We're going straight to the sun. So just allow yourself to start to feel the huge cosmic energy coming from the sun. These waves of pure light coming into you and moving through you. As we get closer and the sun gets bigger and bigger, there's a sense that we are melding with the light of the sun. We're going to move right into the center of the sun. So just allow yourself, as you move into the sun, to become this creator energy, this cosmic light. And there's a sense as we get to the core of the sun that we've moved through a portal that connects 100 billion stars throughout the cosmos. And it is all present, all here, all now. So just feel the sun and feel the oneness of connection to all suns, all stars throughout our entire universe, present as you right now. I am the sun. I am one with the universe. I am space. I am existence. I am infinitely expanding in all directions. I am both time and no time. I am matter and non-matter. I am light. I am energy. I am vibration. I am that. I am. I am in unity with creation itself. I feel whole and complete. Beautiful. Now we're going to come back into our sun, and in a very, very quick way, we are going to move at the speed of light with the cosmic waves of creator energy we just integrated and connected to, and we're going to head back towards the earth, watching Mercury go by, watching Venus go by, heading back to the earth so we can bring this creator unity energy to our planet, watching the moon go by as the blue marble comes into view. We are surfing a cosmic wave of love and light for this planet as we understand it is raising its vibration through cosmic waves of light. That I am, and I return to the earth now and bring back into the room and back into my body. Feel the sensation of the cosmic body reintegrating into the physical body as one. And when you're ready, wiggle your toes and open your eyes. And we are back.
Thank you, Donovan. That was absolutely incredible. And just what I needed, actually. Been a long time since I've let someone else facilitate a journey. That was magnificent. So I could feel the tangibility of each of those planets as we passed by, and then just before you were even talking about the energy rays from the sun. I could feel it like pulsating through my body, and I was like, "Ooh."
Yeah, I'm dizzy. I'm dizzy. Wow, that was huge. Whew, I love it when that happens.
Just amazing. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for this journeying, your immense amount of knowledge and wisdom, and just, you know, spiritual enlightenment that just flows through you so naturally. And it's so beautiful to see you on your path. And all I'm gonna put the rug on.
It just got cold. I just got back in my body now. I'm cold now. It's rugs and hugs.
Rugs and hugs.
Thank you so much.
Donovan,
Look,
it's
I'm
just
just
been such a pleasure. And you know, I highly encourage anyone, if this is, you know, sparks something in you, to connect with Donovan, and see what he has to offer. And I will, you know, link all the details of where you can find him. And you know, it's transformative work that you do, and it, it may what's hang on, I'm tongue tied, I'm trying to come out of it. It may not be fully understood yet, but it is revolutionary and it is leading edge, and I think it will be understood better as the years unfold. But the importance is the transformation and the energy and the power and the knowingness that we have to feel the essence of through the amazing things and work that you do. And that's really the catalyst for change. So thank you for being such a divine soul on a divine mission here on this planet at this time, to facilitate this journey and just to share this with everyone. So I just infinite love and blessings for you and this. And I just want to thank everyone for watching this through the premiere during World Unity Week. And any final thoughts or words, Donovan?
You just left me quite speechless, actually. Oh my God, no, it's so beautiful what you said, because that is it. This is my purpose and my mission. I don't really have a choice in that way now that I know what it is, because I learned, you know, I discovered it. Well, it was gifted to me. I remembered it, as I said, I remembered it. So it is my cosmic pleasure to serve and use whatever my experiences are, my understanding, whatever I've got to offer, to help guide and assist and help people realize what they've got within them, you know. And there's nothing better than watching souls wake up and remember their path and their incarnation, what their mission is, what they're here to do. And we do it through each other. So that's why I love doing this, because it just makes me feel so on my path, and that I'm contributing to more unity, more love on the planet. And it's just, you know, this soul family and how we connect, it is literally changing everything in the universe, not just planet Earth. You know, we're not just ushering in a new paradigm, we are affecting everything. And I think that's maybe after that activation, we can start to realize that, you know, we're affecting everything infinitely, forever. So thank you for the opportunity, because that makes it makes my heart sing just to serve. So yeah,
Beautifully
beautiful.
said. Thank you, Donovan. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And we will get back to you soon with another segment. I'm sure this is going to be just the spark of creation of what's going to unfold for you. So I'm keen to keep a close eye and see how that unravels. And we will connect in soon. And of course, Donovan will be live with us on the round table to seal off World Unity Week. So join in there where we can get a bit interactive and share with you all. So much love, and till next time.
I can't wait.
See you all soon. Bye.
Namaste. See you, everyone. Bye.